Alright, I don't know that I filmed any of the primer work on this, but I got all this area scuffed with a red pad all the way over to here. Just the hole from inside where the panel sits, the trim panel, all the way to the edge. I taped this one off, this bumper, just because I can't get behind it to release it, and I don't want to break it. Just got it masked off for the primer. I'm going to come through now, wet sand all this down with 400 in the large areas I can get to, and I'll probably just scuff the rest of it. I'm going to try to get it blended in, like right into here, and then go across this way, about halfway across. I don't want to get into the VIN sticker or anything like that. Then it'll look like I actually worked on it. I don't want it to show. Once I get this sanded, I'm going to come around the edge with the Scotch-Brite, sand all that. When I come back on the outside, I'll sand that, and I'll have paint all the way to the edge. Went ahead and put the back bumper and tail lights and all in it, just to have it all off the racks and out of the way. Still waiting on the seatbelt to come back. But I've essentially got the car together. I just need to get this lid painted. Then I'll be able to put the tail lights and trim in here. That'll pretty much have the exterior finished. And I'll just need to clean it up and get the seatbelt put in it and make sure the airbag light's off. But it's just about done. I'm going to try to get this painted today. If not today, maybe tomorrow, and then let it sit for a day so I can shut the lid, or at least drop it down. I may put the hatch jammer on here and hold the trunk lid maybe in this position away from the bumper where I can spray the whole thing. But I'll have to wait at least long enough in here for this to harden up where I can tape on it, because I want to tape along this back edge and back mask this so that I can put the plastic around the car and tape it straight to that tape and just paint the trunk lid. I don't really want to paint in this pocket, but I am going to have to seam seal this, and I'm waiting on some seam sealer to get here. If I can wait on it, I will. If not, I'll just rub some panel bond or something in there. It takes longer to cure, but it'll work just the same to seal it. I'm going to work on getting this wet sanded. I'll be back when I get ready to paint in there. That way I can get that finished. Get the outside done after that. Alright, I've got the jam finished. Not much of that you can really see, but I've got it blended over to the latch area right here. I had the latch actually just hanging down so I can blend in behind it. Kind of broke the paint over this edge here. Just ran some foam tape along that edge all the way down to the hinge, and then I just masked up the side of the hinge. I had these pulled out of the way. Now that it's set up for a good probably 24 hours or so, I'm going to drop this down and lock it in place with the hatch jammer. I'm going to cover the bumper with a sheet. I'm just going to start wet sanding the outside of the trunk. This is the last piece I got to sand to paint. So I'm going to start up here, get all this ready to go. Got that spot and the spot on the other side. A little bit of breaking the paint underneath that I missed. I'm just going to sand that through and put a little primer over that when I go to paint it. And then I'll work on this bottom area and mask it off and shoot the trunk and be done painting this thing. So that'll get the paint work done. I can put the lights in the trunk and get all the trim put back on it, and I'll go take it for a test drive. I actually found another key in it, so I won't have to take one up there that I had cut and get it programmed, so that'll save me a little money right there. It was in the console, so when I took the console out, took this pocket out of the console and opened it up, and there was a pin and a valet key in there, so I tried it, and it does run the car, so I don't have to get the one that I had cut programmed. I'll be back when I got this sanded out and ready to paint. Okay, I've got the areas in here where the seams were broken, taped off. Just taped it off on the outside edge to keep it off the outside of the panel. In here, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to wipe it with my finger and just let this edge end up here. Whatever it looks like is fine. Same thing here. I'm just going to wipe it and then pull this off the outside with it wet so I can get a nice clean edge here so I don't get anything on the outside that shows. But in here, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to let it smear, fill in that seam. I've got a little bit of the 5887 left. I don't have enough to run it through a mixing tip. You can see kind of where the end of it is, maybe a 1/4 inch down the tube. There's enough to take the mixing tip off, run some out of the tip and mix it manually, which I'm going to do since I don't really have to worry about any pinholes getting in it from mixing it with a stick. I'm just going to smash it down in the seams, and this should be enough to do that. I'm going to go get some mixed up, and I'll be right back to put it in. Okay, I've got it on there. I just wiped it in there. I got a little bit on the edge here. I should have just put some more tape, but didn't feel like it at the time. Just gonna take this tape, just pull and leave a nice edge in that sealer. Need to come back and wipe that off with some thinner. Go to the other side. You gotta do this while it's still wet. See, this one's on the top of the other one. Use that one first. And I've got some cut throughs here to the metal there and down that way towards the center, so I can give you a shot of that. Cut through there and a few around that edge there where I just ran the DA in the center. May have a couple somewhere else, but I'm going to try to go ahead and just seal the bottom. I've got the top finished in 600 in the primer, but I'm just going to mask this area off at the top, and I'll just seal the bottom of the trunk lid. That way I can cover all the cut throughs and give me a head start on filling in the scratches, because the base coat, metallic base coat's going to take 2 or 3 coats to fill in any sanding scratches before it's completely covered and you can't see them. So that sealer will help me do that. I'll be back when I got it masked and ready for paint. It's almost there. Alright, trunk lid's ready to go. I'm going to wipe it down one more time. I'm going to mask off from this edge back and then seal just the bottom section. Come back and spray after I pull the masking off. Spray adhesion promoter up here where I'm going to do a blend. We're just going to put color on the back end and then up along this back edge and try to keep the original color at the top. So that'll match the quarter panels and only just have to be cleared. It's almost 9 o'clock at night here. I normally don't paint at night just because the bugs like to come out, so I'm going to turn the lights off as soon as I get every coat on the car. So I'm going to get the sealer on, then I'll turn the lights off while it flashes. I'll come back and spray, flip the lights back on, spray the adhesion promoter, same thing on every coat, just turn the lights off in between so they don't get attracted to the reflection in the paint, because they sure will land in it when they see it. We'll go get the sealer mixed up, be back in just a second. Alright, I'm about to tack it off for the sealer, and then I'll pull the masking off and go mix up some, or get some 222S adhesion promoter and go straight over the top. That's going to get about 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get the adhesion promoter on the top. Alright, we're going to spray the adhesion promoter just on the top where the blend will be. And we're going to go mix the color and come back and go ahead and coat the sealer and the primer spots, because it'll be ready by then. Right back with the base. Alright, it's ready for the first coat of base. I'll just show you the first coat and then I'll be back when it's time to clear it. We wait shortly for clear. Okay, I'm ready for clear. I'm just going to show you one coat, and then I'll show you the final product after that. I'll do that when I'm done. Okay, I got 2 coats of clear. I don't know if you can see this or not. Maybe at this angle. Right on that edge, almost has a blue haze to it. And also right in here in this area, sort of really see it right there. It's just got a cloud in it. And that's where the clear is the thickest. It ended up doing it right in here, both sides, and mostly on this side. I got this side pretty wet, just trying to get it to flow. Got a little dry spray right in here when I switched sides, coming across this way, and then caught my wet edge, brought it over. I got to buff that out, but I'm hoping all this will dry out of here. Let me show you on the hygrometer, I think it's called. It's pegged out past 100% humidity. I don't even know if it's calibrated, but I don't really worry about it. I just know that it's close. But I think what happened was I've got the airflow coming in over the top of the curtain, and it hits this side of the car, and it catches in any edge like this or on this side. And I actually got it wetted there too, so it really showed up there. I had a little bit of it through this area where I got the top wet. But it's slowly curing out of there. But what happens is it almost turns like an iridescent type color, like white gold on old GM color, called white gold. That's what it sort of looks like. You see right in there, it's like yellowed. It's like an iridescent. But all that should dry out of the clear. See, it's almost like a yellow brown up here. But as that clear thins and all the solvent comes out, I think it's going to be okay, because this side over here was much worse than it is right now. Probably 3 times that bad. It was all the way into here. So I think it's slowly making its way out. I'm going to let it bake in the sun for a couple of days and see what happens. But essentially it's done. I've just got to hope that comes out of it. I don't think it'd be that noticeable outside anyway, but that was the last of the paint, and I really don't want to have to buy any more. I think I may have enough to do a spot repair, but I really don't want to have to redo the whole trunk lid just for that. I think it'll be okay though. Okay, the Accord's completely done. Just need to detail it. You got to take it for the inspection in a couple of days. Get the clear title on it. I'll give you a quick walk around here. Turned out nice. I just leak checked the trunk lid just to make sure no water was getting in the trunk before I put the trim inside it. All the carpeting. Gaps look good. Got the emblems back on. That's a new Accord emblem. The other one was damaged. Gaps in the bumper. Bumper to the trunk lid looks good. Got the exhaust finisher on. Little stainless tip. I just flooded this with the water hose and sprayed it all in the gaps, tried to make it leak, and it wouldn't leak, so I think it's good. All this is original paint. There's still got some water on it from when I washed it. Got the airbag light off now. Had to get the seat belt rebuilt, and I got that back in. It's in here. Got the trim back over it, but I can turn the key on now. The airbag light is right in here. It'll stay on for 5 or 6 seconds and go out. I actually had a, when I went and test drove it the other night, had a tire pressure light come on. Tire pressure was fine, so that had actually turned off the, well, lost the ability to turn the traction control off, which it works now, but when the tire light was on, the ABS had a code stored in it, even though it did not turn on the light. I put the paper clip underneath on the 5 and 9 pins on the data link connector and flashed the ABS code, which was I think 15-1, but I ignored it until I got the tire pressure thing figured out. And it turns out that just needed to be calibrated. And with the ignition on, you can hold this button down. And then the tire monitor light, which was up here, there it is, flashes a couple of times and went out, recalibrated itself. So then the ABS system cleared that code, and now I can turn the traction control on and off. So I think everything's fine now. There's no other codes. Test drove it, drove great, drove straight. I think I'm still going to do an alignment on it, just in case it is off and it just happens to not be pulling. But there's no noise, there's no pulling, no issues driving it, so I think it's going to be good. See you in a little while.